What is going on, you guys? I tried recording this and it just went way too long. I'm going to do my best to condense this video that's been long requested for you guys, which is basically how can I gain size, gain muscle mass, or mass in general using a total gym or a sliding bench trainer as my sole form of resistance training. I've been getting asked this question a while to put a program together, so here's my answer to that program. I thought now is the best time as ever to kind of make this video. We're getting into colder months. People start eating, all their snacks and treats and cookies because we're in fall now. We're getting into the winter months, and this is personally when I start putting on weight because of all those reasons. So I want to put something together and give you guys my best tips. Hopefully, I'm in this boat with you guys. I generally kind of put on a little more muscle mass just because it's winter time, or just I should say muscle mass, just size. Hopefully, it's muscle mass from just getting into increasing my calorie content. So want to give you guys something simple in this video. Want to give you guys a conceptual program on how to gain size effectively using a total gym, while at the same time doing our best to avoid any excess collateral damage of gaining any excess body weight. Because if it goes without saying, if you start putting on more muscle mass and more size, yes, you're going to put on some little bit of fat as well. We want to be more net positive. And at the same time, I tell all my clients, if people say, well, I want to gain muscle and lose fat, doesn't exactly work that way. So if you're going to lose body weight, you're probably going to lose some muscle too. So odds are most people are actually seeking this program. If you want to build muscle, this is really the program for you. But if you're looking for size and mass, this is definitely the program for you. As with all my previous kind of program videos, which you guys can find on my YouTube channel, there's like a programs playlist. I stress that this is going to be conceptual because it's very hard to make these things specific to fit every individual in all walks of life based on your age, fitness level, skill in a total gym, your time available to train, injuries, etc. So if you do want specific coaching, go to the website slidingbenchtrainer.com or send me an email at slidingbenchtrainer@gmail.com. I'd be happy to accommodate you there with any questions you have. Also, I want to make this video, I'm going to try to make this video as brief as possible and as on point as possible. So I could go over an hour talking about all these things easily. So I'm going to try my best to go over just a broad view and just not get too deep into the weeds here. I'm going to be sharing a document here, if you guys can see this already, that I'll be working on. I'll be continuing to add to this document, and I'll be emailing it out to all those people that are subscribed to my mailing list at slidingbenchtrainer.com. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and definitely do that. You already get some other PDFs, programs sent to you. And also just a heads up, some browsers, some reason, don't like my my mailing list sign up thing. So I don't know. I think it's like Firefox doesn't work too well. But basically, if it doesn't work, try a different browser and it should work. And finally, I will put timestamps down below and links in the description box for everything covered in this video. If you guys do want to support me and the channel, please definitely check out some of those links, most of which actually save you guys some money. You can save, we'll talk about supplements a little bit here, but you can save 5% off your order at bulksupplements.com by using the promo code SBT. If you guys want to check that out. You also can make a straight donation. People have been asking about that. One person did, and I greatly appreciate it. I've had it for a while, just never put it down below. So if you want to make a donation to the channel, that's also greatly appreciated. But at the very least, if you guys like this video, you want to see more program videos or whatever, etc., please like, subscribe, and share this content. It's always immensely appreciated. I appreciate all you guys for all you do. Even just watching this video, greatly appreciate it. I made this little pyramid. It's kind of cheesy, maybe cliched. You guys have seen something probably like this, but this really is the foundation if you're talking about gaining quality size and just stimulating muscle protein synthesis or stimulating muscle growth in the body. It really comes down to, first, a training stimulus, or even just eating food in general. Nutrition is the foundation here. If you do start eating more, your body will have to just anabolically grow. It's going to grow. Might be more fat than muscle. We want a little more muscle than fat in this situation. So by training, we stimulate stimulate muscle protein synthesis, but our body's not going to adequately grow if we don't have the building blocks and the foundation of adequate nutrition. So nutrition and training go hand in hand. Nutrition as the foundation because you need those kind of foundational building blocks, and if you eat more, you will essentially grow. That kind of goes without saying. And then rest is linked tightly with all these things. So it's all about rest and recovery to promote growth in the body. So rest is definitely up there. Honestly, rest could actually be at the bottom of the pyramid too. It's hard to put these things in order. But last but not least, we're going to talk a little bit about supplementation because people ask about that. This is really the icing on the cake. Totally not necessary. It definitely helps, and I'll get into some areas where I think specifically it does help, like a whey supplement or a protein supplement can help to actually get in adequate calories and ones that just digest well. So very simplistic pyramid. Wanted to kind of show you guys that. Now getting into the actual program template, this looks similar to the ones I've done before. Really, who is this for? This is for people that want to gain more weight and or size using a total gym or a body mass trainer as their main form of resistance training. Just like myself, I don't do anything else for resistance training. This is what you guys see in this channel. You guys are seeing in the backdrop of this video a sample workout of what I think a quote unquote mass type size gaining program might look like, emphasizing external loads, making stuff harder, and I'll talk about that as we go along. First, jumping into nutrition, I made some bullet points here because, again, I can't get super specific to everybody, and everyone's got, especially with nutrition, everyone's got their own kind of like ideology and ways to kind of look at it, but these are some take-home points that I would recommend for people. First one is just gradually increase your calories by what you're already eating. It goes without saying, if you want to put on size and mass, you have to eat more. You have to eat more consistently. The wrong way of doing it, I would say, it still works, but it's not the best way of doing it, and I can try to know this from experience. Just starting to stuff your face with food is probably not a good idea. It does work though, but wouldn't be the best way of doing it, especially if you're older. I think the best way of doing it is gradually increasing your calories by what you already are doing. This is assuming the fact that you have good, kind of sport nutrition foundations. You're eating foods that already agree with you. You're on a diet that you're actually adhering to. With that being considered, just gradually start adding a little bit more. In the converse way, if you're having to lose weight, gradually take a little bit away. So for me, if like one breakfast I like to do sometimes, if I got all these components there, that's one of my favorite breakfasts. It could be 2 eggs, 2 chicken sausages, some orange juice, and I think that's it, and a waffle. So it sounds kind of weird, maybe like, I don't know, might not be healthy for some people, but my point is if I want to increase my size now, I would add a little bit more to that. So now I'd add an extra chicken sausage or an extra waffle or an extra egg or all 3 of those things ideally. And that would be, again, a way of me kind of increasing my calories. If you have a protein smoothie in the day that maybe has peanut butter, add a little bit more peanut butter, add a little more milk, use whole milk instead of skim milk, whatever you're doing before, add an extra banana in there. So adding something you're already used to and then maybe incorporating snacks if you're not already doing that, that could be something to do. Second bullet point is keeping protein high or gradually increasing if you're not already doing so. Some people swear by the idea that, having more protein helps them grow a little better, helps them recover. There's all sorts of mixed research on that. ISSN recommends 1.4 grams to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. 2 grams being pretty much the upper like limit of that. I shouldn't say the upper limit, but if you are just basically increasing your calories, odds are your protein is going to increase too. That's the beauty of the body and just being hungry. Your body's not stupid. So if you're working out harder, your body is going to increase your appetite and therefore probably increase your protein in general. But it can be kind of hard to get in adequate protein, especially for like me. I never weighed myself recently. I'm like 205, 207. This is why I think protein supplements can actually be helpful because I know it's hard for me to get in. I don't really want to necessarily eat like heavy, dense meats at like breakfast or lunch. So protein supplementation is helpful for me to hit those numbers. Third bullet point, and this kind of relates to what I just said there, using processed foods wisely and don't eat too clean. What I mean by that is like, whey protein's a processed food. A lot of health foods, I don't want to say whey proteins are health food, but even like smoothies, a lot of things most people eat are basically processed foods. Anytime you cut, cook, blend something, you're essentially processing it. One of the big benefits of processing though, in our advantage if we want to gain weight, is it helps food just break down a little bit easier. So using those things wisely versus if I met a lot of people have a hard time struggling with gaining weight and just putting on size because they're thinking too clean, quote unquote. They'll have like extra chicken breasts or extra salads and all this fruits and vegetables. Nothing's wrong with fruits and vegetables. Not saying not to eat fruits and vegetables, but that stuff are more whole, just dense foods. You're not going to eat as much. They fill you up, take a while to break down. So the point is strategically use these processed foods or other foods to help you get in more calories. The next bullet point goes along with that too. Just find foods that digest well. You might find certain whey proteins. I'm just talking about whey proteins again because it's on my head, but paying more for an isolate or a hydrolyzed protein. Those are faster digesting whey proteins, go in and out of you pretty quickly. So some people find that those are help them digest and get protein in versus again, more fiber bulk foods or having like, a lot of like mini steaks or chicken breasts throughout the day that can be harder to digest. So kind of goes without saying. And then really important point, I think this is a sign of health in my opinion. A good sign of just your programming, just working out is work up a healthy appetite. If you got a healthy appetite, that's the goal, especially if we're talking about putting in quality size, quality mass. We want to have really good workouts, harder workouts. So by that in turn, we should see a healthier and bigger, robust appetite. So let's take advantage of that healthy appetite and increase our calories. That's the ideal situation. Going into psychology is a lot of stuff we could say here, but I think psychology, maybe you wouldn't necessarily thought I would throw this in there, but I think these are kind of 3 big areas that help people. I think this works even for dieting as well, but just kind of for putting on mass and size, I think helping to kind of thinking big to get big. I think people, when they start in this mentality that their goal is to get bigger or to get leaner, they start doing things in their behaviors and lifestyle factors that is they don't necessarily even consciously think about. So by thinking about getting big and eating big, I find people find that they'll tell me like, oh, their supplements might work a little better, or they kind of pay more attention to their food or their training. They start working out harder because they just think like they're stronger. It's weird, but I find people that whenever they kind of think in this like growth mode, that kind of helps them in some way. Make something harder. By that I mean like now is not the time, where I say a lot in the channel. Total gyms are great because if you don't feel like working out, you can kind of get in this nice mode and kind of flow of workouts. And basically my point is now is not the time to kind of get complacent and get in like kind of a plateau and just a workout to work out and exercise your body. Go into each workout trying to make doing something physically harder. So get in your psychology and tell yourself, I'm going to try and just really stress the body to stimulate that positive adaptation. So find something that makes it harder. We'll talk about that with the training. Prioritize your training and dial in your schedule. So this kind of goes without saying as well. If your focus now is to put on good quality, muscle mass, good quality mass gains and size, eating is the easy part for some people. But then if you're just missing days of training, that's not good. So the nutrition and the training have to go hand in hand. So now's not the time to miss training days. Now's not the time to kind of shorten the workouts, make your schedule accordingly so that you really focus in and make your set schedule. That's going to be an important thing. I had someone I talked about last week who was really concerned about their having the ideal perfect workout, but they were only getting to the gym once a week. And I'm like, don't worry about your exercise variables at this point. Make sure you get to the gym. Okay, get to this case we're talking about, they're going to the gym, not a total gym. So that was their thing they had to stress for them. Now getting right into the actual specific training. Here's some bullet points to think about before we get into the actual template here. First thing is just, again, train harder. I mentioned this in the psychology section. Training harder is different for everybody. Total gym isn't as explicit, or like a starting bench trainer isn't as explicit as like just increasing weight. Basically, if you want to have the body positively adapt to muscle gains, we want to stimulate just stress to the muscle. I've said this many times. It could be certain progressions and exercises that you're doing. Could be increasing the time that you're doing. Maybe you're in 30 minutes, now you're going to go 45 minutes or an hour. That's going to require the body to kind of adapt a little bit better. Frequency, maybe you're only getting in like 2 times a week. We'll start doing 3 or 4 times a week. I think along with all these, though, you should incorporate a little bit more a higher intensity. By that meaning making something harder, increasing the resistance. I just did a video talking about increasing resistance. I'll link it down below. Really good video just talking about ways you can make something harder on a total gym. There's so many different unique ways, but yeah, make something harder. Approach each workout like the workout you're seeing here. I'm throwing everything but the kitchen sink at me. I got the weight vest, the plates. I put the things, I jacked up the total gym. I think I did something else, put resistance bands on. So I'll probably be doing stuff like this because I'm actually gonna be trying to do a little bit more of this type of training as the months kind of progress here into winter. We'll see how it works out. I'll do a recheck on this. Get at least 2 times a week of training into your schedule for each body part. We'll get into that too. Go easy on cardio. I'm not saying, or easier on cardio. I'm not saying don't do cardio. I'm not saying like even discouraging like longer distance duration cardio, like you're going to burn muscle or something. My point is that if you're focusing on building size and muscle and you're eating to kind of support that, let's make resistance training a focus. Let's have the focus on our effort and work being in that resistance training session. So make that a priority. Then yeah, certainly do some extra work if you want to, but yeah, always make sure you're kind of feeding the machine with your nutrition as well. Jumping into the actual template here. Now this looks probably painfully simplistic, probably going to upset people just seeing how simplistic it is. But again, keep in mind it's conceptual. We have so many different walks of life, but I believe everyone kind of follows this. You will see results accordingly, that as long as you're incorporating the nutrition, everything else I'm saying, you will see results. In my opinion, no questions. The template's very simple. Now this, you can for sure adjust this. I'm just saying, choose some push exercises, chest presses, overhead presses, whatever that's more multi-joint, incorporating the elbows and the shoulders as you do that push. Pull exercises, these could be pull downs, these could be multi-joint rows, or like vertical pulls. And then single joint, these could be arm exercises, shoulder exercises, and or you could do leg exercise. You want to make this more total body. The rep ranges 6 to 15 is just an average. The sets I have for the push pulls could be 3. You could dial it up if you wanted to. Single joint I have 3 to 5. This is just assuming you could do a little bit more work as you guys are doing this. Now, as you guys are looking here, you could do either a superset template of like go from push to pull to single joint and kind of go like in a circuit. You could just do pushes, just do pulls, and increase the weight in each subsequent set. So that's an option, which leads us into the rest periods. So at least 30 seconds, maybe to like 2 minutes. I shouldn't say at least 30 seconds, because if you want to do a superset and jump into a pulls and you don't need that rest, go ahead and do that. But if you're taking just set by set and you're increasing the intensity, which I'll get into the next part, then yeah, take a longer rest period. Getting into intensity, I use this reps and reserve system. The reps and reserve system, and then a number just basically tells you if I'm going to choose a intensity setting. Again, there's all different ways of increasing intensity: bands, weights, incline, whatever. If I choose a hard intensity for, let's say, I'm going to take 10 repetitions, a reps and reserve 3 would mean I'm going to get to 10 reps, but I could do 3 more, even though I'm going to stop. Reps in reserve 1 would be harder, meaning like I'm going to get to 10 reps, but I can only do 1 more. So point is, some reps in reserve number like that. I have this little asterisk here, and this is very important. It's just basically saying you don't have to do this, but I made a whole extra video about how to increase, simple way to increase strength, which is kind of related to that too, which I can link that video down below as well. But increase intensity on each set. So what I mean by that is basically make each set harder. You guys are seeing it in this workout video in the backdrop that yeah, each set I'm making it a little bit harder in each one. So if I were to summarize all this, I'm basically trying to tell you guys, make it a hard workout. Okay, so find the rep range that works for you, get adequate volume in there, but don't make it easy. Try something different, make it harder. And assuming the fact that you were going to support this with the calories coming in, we should see some positive growth in the body. I'm making this very simple because I think it is that simple, honestly. And then getting into the actual workout frequency, you guys could change this up however you guys want to. I dialed it up a little bit more, but Monday just says workout. I mean, is do this workout. If you want to make it more total body, that could be your thing. If you're doing a total body workout, then maybe you do want to take Tuesday off because we want to allow at least 48 hours rest between each body part. If you're just going to do more upper body, then make it more leg focused. And then make it just a leg workout on Tuesday, and then you can go back to Wednesday for the upper body, legs, and or rest, whatever, etc., all the way to Saturday, and then Sunday could be off. But again, you could tweak this. This is a lot of volume, a lot of work that can get you pretty hard. If you're just thinking with this mentality that I'm telling you of increasing intensity, you're going to have to kind of buffer some of these days being a little harder, moderate, or lighter intensity, because if you just start going hard all the time, you will kind of burn yourself out. So keep that in the back of your head, and also make sure you're adequately feeding yourself to recover adequately from each of these sessions. So isn't dogmatic. You could get 2 or even like I said 3 times a week in some of these. If you want to take extra days off, definitely go ahead and do that. This leads us into the important part of just rest periods. Now, you want to allow at least 48 hours rest between body parts. I said that. Rest is vitally important. This is where we get all the recovery. I think you guys probably have heard this before. Rest is where we are getting our growth. So making sure you prioritize rest. The second bullet point, listen to your body to decide what to emphasize in a particular workout. This goes back to training. If I have a push, if you're doing Monday with some push exercise and you get to Wednesday, maybe you didn't do as many shoulders, do some more shoulders. If something's feeling a little off or iffy, like an elbow or maybe your biceps, then don't do as much of that particular exercise for that body part. So listen to your body on that, ideally with rest. When it comes to this third bullet point, probably very, very important, tightly linked with nutrition, basically saying that really nutrition influences your rest. If you want to get adequate rest period in those days off, you got to make sure you're eating just consistently. If you don't rest and recovery and fuel the tank, give your body the building blocks, you're not going to adequately rest and recover. So make sure your nutrition is on point, or at the very least, you're sustaining the body with all the hard work with the calories you're putting in. And then finally, sleep in the rest section. I'm not going to rant about sleep. You guys know sleep's important. I'm not going to put a set number on it because I think it gets people kind of stressed out. My point is, yeah, get some sleep, prioritize it, try and make sure it's kind of good sleep that works for you, but sleep is definitely vitally important. Then getting into the icing on the cake, I almost didn't put this in here, but everyone always asks about supplements, and I take supplements, so I might as well be hypocritical if I didn't say this. I put this in kind of like a ranked order, but you guys could for sure critique this, and I didn't put any like novel nuanced supplements or like blend of supplements together. You can certainly find like pre-workouts and post-workouts that are really good to take care of a lot of these things all at once, so that's certainly an option. But the first one is definitely just whey protein, or just a protein supplement that works for you, can digest. Whey protein for me is just ideal because I said earlier, I just don't like eating like just harder to digest like chicken breasts and steaks or beef throughout early in the day. At nighttime, I have no problem. But I don't feel like even having like really snacking on that. So I think that takes a while to digest. So whey protein or protein supplement just allows me to get those protein needs in throughout the day. Hit those numbers. I don't think you do it totally crazy with it. Creatine, you've probably heard about creatine at this point. Not going to say too much of it other than that if your focus is on mass and size, consider definitely looking into creatine. That will be for sure something you should consider. Multivitamin, yeah, it's good to get some sort of multivitamin. I don't think you spend tons of money on it though. It doesn't be super crazy. I don't even think you have to necessarily even take one every single day, but I probably should add a vitamin D in here too. Vitamin D is, for me at least, we're getting into colder months, not getting outside as much. Vitamin D is going to be something that's definitely be a staple. You could add some sub ones like magnesium would be another great one I added here, but I digress. As far as like muscle building, and we're talking about HMB, I've been still experimenting with it. I got to dial mine up a little bit. I got to take it more consistently to really see the results, but HMB has some interesting research behind it. Again, I'm not going to go into details of what it is. You guys can check it out, but HMB pre-workout daily for at least 1 to 3 grams seems to be an effective dose. Some people swear by it, so they get great results. Some people not so much. Relatively kind of inexpensive to kind of throw in like your pre-workout drink. Citrulline DL Malate, 2-to-1 ratio, 5 to 9 grams. 9 might be more on the excessive side. Taking that pre-workout, it's just a pump inducer, increases nitrous oxide production, vasodilation in the blood vessels, so that you get more of like a pump when you work out. Does that really do much when the workouts? That's debatable. To me, it just feels like when my body's kind of pumped up in a workout, it makes me kind of do a little bit more. So that little bit of extra work, to me, if it's even just motivational, I think it might be worth it. But again, that's a debatable thing. Beta Alanine for sure kind of works. You might not need it for your workouts though. Really more so better for those higher intensity, maybe shorter durations. Helps kind of buffer the acid buildup in your muscles. So again, assuming you can do a few more extra reps from something that might be like a more higher intensity workout session, that could be definitely beneficial. A lot of these supplements like 4 through 6 are hard to kind of just take consistently, so that could be an issue. I actually ran out of still have to get more beta alanine, so I gotta actually have not been taking that consistently, so I gotta take that again. But these are just things, if you want to take something that actually adds a little bit extra oomph to your other staple nutrition is obviously vitally important. Those would be things I would possibly recommend for you guys. I didn't throw branched amino acids on here, only that branched amino acids I think can be good to actually mix everything together. I do that a lot just because you give it a little more flavoring. So I don't think you necessarily need it. Some people swear by it, but if you got a good branched amino acid as like kind of like a filler to kind of mix these things together to kind of give it some taste, that's an option too. That is really it, guys. I'm going on again. I made this a little shorter than the first time I recorded it, but still long. I apologize. Whenever I make these program videos, they have to be long to explain the details. But if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, let me know. I could go in a lot more detail. I will go in more detail with this. Thinking of putting some more detailed programs come up in the future. At the very least, guys, if this was beneficial and you liked it, please like the video, share the video, and definitely check me out or shoot me an email over at SloutyBenchTrainer@gmail or SloutyBenchTrainer.com. And I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you.